Hey, fitness fans, welcome back to the Future of Fitness podcast. I am your host, Eric Malzone, and this is episode number 29. I get to talk to Debbie Lichter. So Debbie has the website freefromfoodaddiction.com. She is a very experienced fitness professional who has taken a dive into the spiritual side. So her premise is that she helps people alleviate physical pain by tackling spiritual pain first. So before you kind of judge this episode or think about it, think about the complexities of the people that you work with as fitness professionals. There's a lot of different layers and things that are going on in their life. And if you've been in the trenches long enough, you know that many times you come to people and you best serve them as a coach and a listener and someone who can help them with all the other shit that's going on in their life. So there's a lot of great nuggets on that side of things. She also talks about growing her online business. So from a business standpoint, this is a really valuable episode as well. How scaling and automation before you're ready can really hurt your business and affect your clients. And there's some great lessons that she shares with us there as well. So without further ado, this is Debbie Lichter, freedomfromfoodaddiction.com. And I hope you enjoy it. I sure did. Everybody, welcome back. This is Eric Malzone with the Future of Fitness podcast. And today I have Debbie Lichter, and welcome to the show, Debbie.
Hi, Eric. It's so good to be here.
Good. So you and I have had a lot of chances to talk, and especially about the fitness industry and your evolution and what you're doing now. We're going to dive a lot into that for sure. Because I think we uncover some really, really cool topics for people to keep in mind. But if you don't mind, Debbie, give people who are listening just, I know you have a lot of experience, maybe just a synopsis of what you've done and then what you're doing now.
Sure. Yeah. So I started out in the fitness industry with just wanting to become a personal trainer, and then soon after that became a Pilates instructor. And that was really my big passion, because while I was getting my certification, I was working at a physical therapy clinic. I was always interested in how we work with bodies who aren't feeling 100% more than on the performance side of stuff. And so I dove into it deep, and within about 2 years became a general manager of a health club. And then after that, opened my own Pilates studio. And so it's so interesting telling you my story through the trajectory of my fitness career, because today what I do is really, my Pilates studio is really known for helping people connect to their bodies at a deeper level and really getting rid of chronic physical pain. And all the work that I was doing outside of my official work was really around helping folks get free from addiction, because that's a huge part of my story too. And so ultimately it brought me to this place where I thought, and unless I'm helping people with what I call their spiritual pain or their spiritual inflammation, then if we're working with people around their physical inflammation, it's only going to get so far. And so today what I really do is I help folks get free of both their physical pain and their spiritual pain. I help people get free from addiction. I help people come back to their bodies, and really just, have that comprehensive body, mind, and spirit fitness.
Oh, it's really cool. Yeah, it's different for sure. And it's, as coaches, and this is my background, especially, I always, I look at the programming, I look at the quote unquote X's and O's of what people are doing, but sometimes it's really easy to slip into that side of things and forget that we're working with actual human beings, right? Mm-hmm. And the complexity that comes with that. I'm curious, do you have any, can you share some kind of example of someone that you've worked with and how you've managed to get them through the spiritual pain into, give us more depth on that.
Yeah. I mean, today the big place that people come to me is freedom from addiction. Let's take food addiction, for example. So I had a client who came to me, she did have physical pain, and she was, had some extra weight, but her biggest thing was knowing that as long as she was stuck in the addiction, right? Because this is another thing that also our clients come to us and they want weight loss. But if they are caught in a food addiction and they have a lot of shame about that, and it's pulling them out of what they know they should be doing and all that kind of stuff, it's not just about having a better mindset or replacing a bad habit with a good habit. There's a deeper that person really needs to get real with what's going on with driving them to the food in the first place. And so that's what I did with this client, is that we really got to, first of all, what I start with folks is it's let me help you get clarity, because what I find when people are struggling with any addiction is that they're trying to solve a problem they don't fully understand with an incomplete solution. So take food addiction, for example. If we're trying to just fix food addiction with diet and exercise or with mindset training, we are missing a huge piece, which is this, like I said, the spiritual piece. So the spiritual inflammation that I talk about, the ways that we are in fear, the ways that we are resentful, the ways that we are in judgment, all of that, all of the stuff that is kind of making us feel restless, irritable, and discontent as we go through our lives. It's just kind of like, I call it spiritual inflammation, because it kind of feels that like that internal agitation. And that's really the stuff that I help folks get free from. And when we can come into congruent relationship inside, and when people can get free of that spiritual stuff, it's incredible. So this particular client, her whole attitude and outlook changed, not because she was going into her mind to fix it, but because we were doing this deeper spiritual work. And because of that, her whole relationship with her physical pain changed. Her story changed. Her physical pain left. The weight fell off, and she wasn't trying to fix herself. She wasn't trying to lose weight or think about her food. It just came off because she got to the core of what was really going on. So that's just an example.
That's, oh God, it's so cool. And I have a question, because I'm 41 now, and I've seen, I think my generation, I think we're in the same rough age bracket. I think our generation is gone. I was raised going to Catholic church, right? I had to go every Sunday, right? And then emphasis on I had to. And so my spirituality, and then I always put spirituality next to Catholicism or some kind of organized religion. But you're seeing less and less people, especially in our generation and younger, actually attending church. So spirituality is becoming this different thing, right? It's evolving. How can you put into words how you're seeing that evolution change? I mean, that's
yes.
Okay. Good.
I would love to.
Awesome.
Because, can I swear on this, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Because I really feel like we all have God shit, like we all have our stuff. We all have the stuff that we were raised with or that we weren't raised with. We all have our beliefs. We have our attitudes about how other people do their spirituality or their religion or their, whatever. And so we're usually coming into the conversation with a lot of our own beliefs and with a lot of judgment or criticism or even, prejudice around how other folks are doing life, or those people are hypocrites, and or this institution is hypocritical, or all that kind of stuff. And so one of my biggest passions, after people get clear on what the problem is, before they can really, really access the solution, we got to clean up all that God shit. And so that's actually what we get into next, where we do a whole thing around that. Because really what I see happening is that a lot of folks have belief in spiritual concepts, whether that's, be the change you want to see in the world, or whether that's, like very specific Catholic view, or whatever it is. We have a whole gamut of that stuff, but oftentimes there's beliefs and philosophies that are spiritual. And yet many of us are blocked from access. And when I say blocked from access, that we're not relying on spiritual power, we're relying on our own self-will, our own power, trying to figure things out on our own, trying to control, manipulate, get things done. We're kind of operating in a world that is, in one way or another, I guess you could say it's kind of agnostic. It's like, maybe there's this thing out there, but I still got to manage these areas of my life, and so we're kind of operating in that world. And that's really where I see addictions and obsessions and self-sabotaging patterns having a field day, because, well, I won't go down. They just do. They just show up in that environment. Right. And so what I really find is that what's important for folks is to be guided through a process where they can set aside all of the stuff, all of the beliefs, all of the attitudes that they grew up with, or that they're showing up with right here, right now. Set it all aside. What is truth will come back to you, and really give yourself the opportunity to cultivate a new experience of what it means for you right here, right now. And so what I really guide my clients through is how to get quiet enough with all that stuff out of the way so that you can allow what is your truest spiritual experience to reveal itself to you. And then you're able to cultivate a brand new relationship that is based on something that is deeply intimate and totally personal to you. And it's like everyone else can go do their thing. And that's what happened for me, because I had a lot of, like, I grew up Jewish, and the sort of like the spirituality, my understanding was just this very impersonal. Like, I didn't grow up with prayer. There were just a lot of things that I didn't really have. And I had a lot of beliefs, a lot of judgments, a lot of judgments about other people and other institutions. And so this is what really helped me. And that's what I find people are really needing, is they're needing something that's intimate, that's deep, that's meaningful for them. And then from that place, Eric, we can then, like today, I can go into any mosque, any temple, any church, anything. And whether somebody is speaking about Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, or someone's speaking about Allah, like, I can actually find my personal experience with it without any charge. And so there's a lot of freedom around that. But I couldn't just philosophically get there. I had to go through a journey to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting stuff. And I found myself saying, how many times now that I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious, but I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that means. You just say it because it's just like, it's an easy default, right? But yeah, it's an interesting time. And especially, as you look at, if you actually take the time to look at the roots of I don't want to get too much into religion here, but where they come from, it's just basically explaining things that we don't understand. And as times go on, right, we're getting to the point where we understand a lot more. And now we're, well, what now? And cool. I think it's a big topic that a lot of people have swimming their heads that they don't, they don't want to talk about, or B, they can't recognize it yet. And, I always say I did, and nothing against, Catholicism, but I always say I did 18 years of hard time. I was an altar boy and all that. So there's still some residue there, obviously. Debbie, I'm curious, because you and I had talked about some things that, when you shifted to an online presence and the coaching and changed your business, what are some lessons that you can share with people about how to get started in something new, or fairly new?
Yeah, great. I feel I'm so passionate about us starting where we are, starting small, starting humble. It's really sexy, and I've made this mistake many times of seeing the big, fancy, sexy things that people are doing out there and wanting to do that and investing in stuff like that. And then it feels like there's too much. It feels overwhelming, and it sets us up. Well, at least it used to set me up for feeling like a fraud, or feeling like it's just, there's too much happening. I'm kind of trying to, and what really worked for me, Eric, was, starting with just a few clients who are ready to dive into a new journey. And what I did was in that very first program that I did, I was doing live calls with people. I was recording those calls. I was pouring everything that I could into those folks. creating online content. It was kind of like the stuff that I found myself saying over and over again to people, like, okay, that becomes a lesson plan, that becomes a module, that becomes an audio. It was very, very, it was very grassroots, and it was just one tiny thing at a time. And then, then when I completed that 6-month course, I had all these recordings. I now had a program. I now had a whole series of modules that I could say, okay, the next person that comes in, I don't have to redo all of that. Now I can just leverage by doing, coaching calls, group calls, one-on-one calls, but I don't have to re-record all that stuff again. And now, oh my gosh, we actually are starting to have a community. This is amazing. I'm actually inviting people into something. And so it just slowly started growing in that way. And it was really interesting. I know you didn't ask this, but I'm just going to fast forward a little bit, because earlier this year, I wanted to get fancy again. And I wanted to now automate my whole business and, just train other people to do what I did. And, kind of, it's like, okay, now I'm ready to leverage the next level. Now I'm ready to do this. And so I started to do all of that. And you know what? I think my clients really suffered. I first of all spent way more money. I mean, my expenses were so high, but my clients were really wanting me, and I was trying to make myself less available and trying to set up more systems and automation and other people to do the things. And I think that there is a really beautiful balance of that, because I think that there are ways that we can scale, that we can grow, that we can leverage, that really serve and create more wins. And there's other areas of my life that other areas of my business that I've done that, like with group retreats and things like that. But as long as the piece of wisdom that I would just that I would share is, as long as we are always keeping ourselves in check, keeping our and keeping the client's experience at the forefront of what, like, is this best for the business or is this best for the client's experience? And then connecting in with them. What do they need? And all that kind of stuff. And what's been interesting is that as the year gets towards the end here, I've really gone full circle. I raised my prices quite significantly, but I'm now offering even higher end, higher touch offerings to people who are really ready for that. So I can really dive deeper with them, and keeping the aspects of the automation that worked, but really actually being more involved in my business than I was at the beginning of the year. So it's been interesting, really interesting.
Yeah, it's great. And I think the lessons that I hear in there too is that, and this is so common, I've done it so many times myself, is, you really got to focus on, what do you truly enjoy doing? And what is the highest value that you offer to your business? So if you look at yourself as an employee of your business, like what is your greatest value to that? And focus most of your energy there. And then all the other stuff that is, that you either hate doing or someone else can do better, then you start to systematize that stuff if you can, right? But never, if you're, it's so often now you see people, like, they want to create this, they think this amazing Facebook funnel is going to change their lives. It's going to automate everything, and they're not going to have to worry about anything. They're just going to be on an island somewhere, and money is just going to be flowing in. It doesn't work like that in our field. It doesn't work like that. It
doesn't work like that. And that's such a perfect example. So yes, like, I have team that handles all of the things that are not my wheelhouse, but I'm talking about my clients come to me because of my channeled coaching. I mean, I'm a channel, and I'm an intuitive, and so there is a skill set that I offer that people want. So it's like, I can't replicate that, and that is my wheelhouse. That's what I love to do. So as I was trying to, like you said, okay, I just want to have an automated program. Someone can just come online, they can do an online funnel, and they can do an online program, and everything is hands off, and everything is really sexy and smooth and slick. And it's like, that's not the experience. You know, what people want, they want human contact, they want community, they want to know they're not alone, they want, you know, they want to have interaction, and they certainly want to have the, you know, the channeled guidance that they're receiving. So absolutely, I agree with you.
Awesome. Where do you see Free from Food Addiction, your business, in 2 years? What's the direction you're heading in?
Well, my vision has always been to shift from ownership to stewardship with my business, and so this is part of my greater why of really creating a new paradigm of being free from addiction. And so I would love to see that, you know, sure, there's going to be people who want to do higher touch, higher level, one-on-one stuff with me. I'm also, my brand has actually graduated. I have people that come into me at the freedom from addiction or freedom from food addiction level. And then I also have people who come to me specifically for what I call the congruence code, which is just that next level of how do we become fully congruent in ourselves so that we can really live from joy, shine our light, help more people, and ultimately just be all of our authentic selves. And so that's really the work that I'm doing with folks, still in that coaching capacity and in that group capacity. But really what I see is that there is an aspect of the work that I'm doing that is living in the world that is sort of just like it's open, and it's free, and it's available for people to do and to create community around the world and to come together. So that would just be the most exciting thing for me, and is that actually it grows beyond me.
Awesome. So when you said ownership versus stewardship, elaborate on that. That's new to me.
So there's an aspect of what I'm doing in my business that is about me and my business and my personal brand and my expression. And yes, I am here to be a best-selling author and a speaker and a thought leader in the way of addiction and embodiment and spirituality and things like that. And that's like my personal vision. And then, you know, each one of us, I really feel this about folks who are in the health and fitness industry. We care. We really, we want to, we've got big visions and big dreams, and we want to help the world in a massive way. And I really get that to help the world in a massive way, I have to get out of my own, like the trajectory of my own personal brand, and really look at what is the legacy piece that I'm here to offer. What is the piece that I want that's just serving the world? That, you know, we talk about what's your 5-year plan, what's your 10-year plan, what's your 1-year plan, and what's your 100-year plan? You know, and so that's really that's where it's stewarding a movement, stewarding something that just is a legacy.
I love it. Great. So Debbie, where do people get a hold of you if they want to find you, learn more, see the content that you're putting out? Where do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, great. You can go to my website, freefromfoodaddiction.com. You also can, you know what? I would really love to just offer people an opportunity to connect with me directly, and send me an email, because there's lots of stuff that we talked about. And if you would like to send me an email, you can go to Debbie, DEBBIE, at freefromfoodaddiction.com. No S at the end, no freedom from, just freefromfoodaddiction.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Debbie. It's cool. You definitely bring something different into on this show and into the fitness industry. So thank you for everything you do. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And yeah, have a great day.
Thank you, Eric. It was such an honor. Bye-bye.
Hey, fitness fans. Don't leave yet. This is Eric Malzone, your host, and I have an extremely special offer just for you. If you go to fitnessmarketingalliance.com/assessment, you can claim your complimentary digital marketing audit. Are you a modern fitness professional? Do you have some sort of online presence? Do you have a sneaking suspicion that your website is not performing optimally and therefore costing you money? Well, this is how you start to find out all the details. Just like fitness, you need to start with an honest and objective assessment. So go to fitnessmarketingalliance.com/assessment, fill out the form, and we will have it to you within 72 hours. It will cover your overall site performance, rank from 0 to 100, how you rank for your chosen keywords, so that's search engine optimization, your website traffic history over the last 6 months, so the ebbs and flows and what worked, what didn't, your website speed, which is highly relevant for people coming to your website and then bouncing off because it's working too slow, your social media presence, competitive analysis, and much, much more. So this is just the tip of the iceberg, but this is the starting point for building your online business. So please take advantage of it. We're offering it because we feel it's deeply important to you and the industry overall. And you can claim it by going to fitnessmarketingalliance.com/assessment. Do it today. Do it right now. Don't hesitate. This offer won't last forever. So thank you for listening. Greatly appreciate it. If you ever need to reach me, hit me up, Eric at fitnessmarketingalliance.com, and I'll be talking to you very, very soon.